Hi, everyone. Welcome to another interview of Changing the Perspective here with my amazing friend, Corey from Maine. Actually, that's why we're on Zoom. I'm excited to have him. This relationship started over some real estate mastermind people that we know mutually. We became friends, connected over learning real estate, and realized we just had kind of a different connection other than just business. And so I really enjoyed getting to know him. 5 years now, probably, maybe.
Maybe not quite. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really excited to have him on. His journey with me in this passion project started from a text message, which I will read here shortly to everyone. Super excited to talk about kind of setting goals when maybe you don't know your why or how to make it happen, how to really get started. I think a lot of people in this goal setting area struggle because they want to take on their whole life and the whole world in just one goal, and that's never possible. So we're going to kind of talk about all of that. If you're excited about what we're going to talk about today, or if you have followed us on some of our other interviews, we're asking that you just hit the subscribe button below this video and get notified. We have some amazing things coming here in the next several months. We're going to follow up with some people that I've been talking to for a while that are finally going to interview on some addiction and stuff like that. So really excited. So please subscribe. All right. So Corey, I'm going to read the text message so everybody knows what started this. All right. So Corey's in Maine. So the background is it's like bad weather all the time there. No, I'm just kidding. But this time of year, because we are in the winter, it snows a lot, right? Okay. So I get this text message yesterday. Yes. And it says, I've been writing a lot today. It's snowy and nasty here, so what better thing to do? I'm thinking one reason I stagnate so long is because I really don't know what I want to do or be, in quotations, when I grow up. Freedom sounds good, but very vague. A life with someone who's on the same page is also very vague. How does one define the things that lights a fire under their butt and plucks them from a life of plain and ordinary? Real estate is definitely the tool to make it happen, but how does one find the it? So tell me what spawned this text message.
Just trying. I mean, I've been doing the real estate thing for a while, probably 5 or 6 years. And, I see all these people, my mentors, my just friends and people that have come through or are doing real estate, and they all have this amazing story of why they're doing it. It could be for their kids, or it could be um, their family, their whatever. And then I'm a thinker, a muller, I mull things over a lot. And I was thinking, before I got into real estate, I had a business that was a gift shop and a website, and I worked 7 days a week there, and I worked my heart and soul. And I was like, oh, I was always tired, and I never had time to do anything. And now I'm in real estate, and I have that same mentality of, oh, I got to keep working. If I'm not working, then I'm not doing whatever. And I'm thinking and just trying to figure out, why am I doing this? Is there a purpose of me doing and acting and being all crazy, what seems to be crazy, and wasting time trying to figure out why I'm doing it all?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a big, oops, there's the cat.
And that's Gilbert for everybody who's watching.
But just trying to figure out something so that I feel like I have purpose when I get up in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're doing real estate full time now, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I know, in just knowing you over the last several years, that I think the transition to real estate alone was a lot. And I also think you struggled a little bit identifying what type of real estate you wanted to do. If you wanted to do only in one state or multiple states, if you wanted to do just wholesaling or assignments or whatever, versus like a whole bunch of rentals. It sounded like you, in that transition, kind of struggled with really defining where you wanted to be in real estate altogether. Is that correct? Did you say?
Yeah, and still am.
Okay. So obviously, part of the struggle comes from not having kind of necessarily a clear view of where you want to be also, and we knew that. You say you write, so do you write a lot? Is that something you just enjoy, creating things?
Yeah, definitely. I have a daily journal,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
then I have a gratitude journal.
They're not one
And
and the same?
then I
Okay.
write. So in the gratitude journal, I write 5 things I'm grateful for every day,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
I also underneath that I write a future, like what I'm going to be doing a year from now on this day.
Hmm.
And I changed that just probably within the past 3 months, because for a while I was just doing like, oh yeah, I'm going to be on a beach in Florida, or I'm going to be whatever, and it was never consistent.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, okay, if I'm really writing this journal for the future, then I can't be doing one thing one day and then one thing another. Like, it has to be
Yeah.
like I'm actually writing a journal, so it really feels and makes sense.
Yeah.
So I've changed that, but then I go through spells of where I am very consistent and write, and it helps a lot. But then I go through spells where something gets me busy or something in the morning, and then I just don't do it, because I usually write in the morning.
Got it.
So, and then I have another journal that, as I'm reading books, that's my notes journal.
Okay.
So as I'm reading a book, then I'll take little notes. And so then I just I started another journal. I just like to write, and
Okay.
sometimes I have the same writing in each journal, but sometimes it's different. But and sometimes the reason why I have so many different ones is because I need to separate my thoughts that way.
Okay.
So the other journal, the most recent journal that I started, was after I write some notes about a book that I'm reading, then I'll write how I can implement it into my life.
Okay.
So that's really where all the I guess really thinking about and trying to figure out this year, instead of because I'm getting older all the time,
Yeah.
and I'm I don't know, I don't want to keep wasting my life trying to figure out what it is that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think I search too much for happiness instead of just being happy.
Yeah. I think sometimes we all struggle a little bit with that. Like, you're on the search and you almost just go buy something that's going to make you happy because you're on the search for something completely different.
Right.
That's
Or I
somewhat
think
human
about,
nature.
yeah, I think about it, and I'm thinking, I can't do that today. I have to get this other stuff done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Now, did someone tell you to write in 4 separate journals, or is that just
no,
what you know you
it's
need?
just what I've been doing.
Got it. I just wondered. I have one. All of the stuff go in the one. So, I do think journaling highly important, because one, it can get out a lot of crap that just is weighing down the stuff that really needs to be dealt with. And I've said this in another interview that I did when I was going through counseling after my trauma. Um, she said, right, it doesn't even matter what's coming out. Literally just write, and the good, the bad, the ugly. It doesn't have to make sense. Just get all your thoughts down. And then the thoughts that come back, are the ones that really need to be handled versus the clutter, because I couldn't even clarify what was valuable or not because it was so cluttered in there that like I was dealing with one thing that had no bearing on anything, but for whatever reason my mind would stick on that because it was so cluttered. And so she had me start journaling from that standpoint. And then it turned into more of like, here was my day and this is how I handled it. And, but at first, I mean, it was just every thought I ever had, whether it made sense or not, just got thrown on paper.
Yeah.
I think it's a valuable tool for sure.
I mean, for me, some people can type it,
Yeah.
they just, but for me, I have to have a pen in my hand and paper, and
Yeah.
it just, because it feels so much better.
Yeah.
And
Me.
it's kind of funny because when I have a pen that I really like, my journaling is so much better. Isn't that
I'm a
funny?
pen whore.
Me too.
Like I almost collect them.
Do you know what? This is kind of funny, and kind of off topic, but one of the pens that I like the most that writes the best is the pen from Dixie's.
You should let her know that.
I will.
Yeah. I'll tag her in this video so she can hear that too. Okay, so let's kind of tear this apart a little bit. Let's just go a little bit at a time. So the first thing you say is, I'm thinking one reason I stagnate so long is because I really don't know what I want to do or be, in quotations, when I grow up. So, I mean, you're how old now?
40, 46.
Okay.
I
And you
think.
obviously haven't really feel like you've quote unquote grown up, and that's okay.
No. No.
So when you were little, what did you want to be when you grew up? Did you ever?
A lot of things.
Yeah.
I wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to be a farmer.
Oh.
I wanted to be a meteorologist.
Oh. You can maybe
Yeah.
do a better job than some of the current ones out there.
I know, right? Yeah.
Actually, I think I could do a better job than some of the current ones. The
I know.
arthritis in my knee tells me what's going to happen for the day. So
Sometimes all you have to do is look out the window and say, this is what's happening, and it's a better job than they're doing.
yes, it's true. It's true.
I've always had some sort of business. Like when I was really young, we had an abundance. It's a funny story, but we had an abundance of carrots one year.
Oh.
And so I asked my mom, I'm like, can I dig carrots, wash them, and sell them by the road one day? And she said yes.
Okay.
Like, and so, I mean, I think my mom was the only customer.
Okay. I mean, you're an entrepreneur at heart.
But I
How
mean,
old were you?
Under 10 years old, probably.
Okay.
I mean, I had plans to sell everything that day, like lemonade, but we settled on carrots.
Okay.
I think that's because we had carrots, and my mom knew if I didn't sell any of them, that she could still put them, we could use them.
Back in the fridge. It's
right.
Fine. Got it.
So, and I used to sell stuff all the time, like wrapping paper and Christmas cards, that thing.
Yeah.
I had, when I graduated high school and I came, like at the end of my time for graduation, I had like a lawn mowing business, handyman type thing. And then I came back from college for a semester and I did that again. Plus I had a car cleaning business and just, always doing something.
I mean, a true entrepreneur.
Yeah. But nothing ever stuck as something that drew my passion.
Do you feel like real estate is that for you?
Real estate, I mean, I like real estate because of the freedom that
Mhm.
the potential freedom that it can give,
Right.
but it's not like something that 100% excites me, that I wake up every morning like, oh, I can't wait to go sell a house today, or I
Yeah.
can't wait to rehab this house. Like rehabbing houses, um, maybe
Yeah.
maybe getting into um, some Airbnb or like short-term rental type things that I can go in and be creative. Like
Yeah.
when I see people decorating their houses for this, it just is like, yeah, I think I could do that. Although I don't feel excitement about about decorating my own house.
You want to go decorate for people, but you don't want to do your own? Okay.
Right.
I mean,
Um, so the other, like this Christmas, this is another, like all these different things come to my head, figuring out what my passion is. So this Christmas, um, I started giving, like I have a friend here that she and I hung out quite a bit this summer, and we haven't hung out for a long time, but we've been friends for a long time.
okay.
And so I just started getting so like funny and creative with the Christmas gifts that I was giving her. I mean, I found like a Coach bag purse at a thrift store is really musty smelling, and like a float for the water, because we went out just sitting in the lake drinking um, little like whatever we had
Yeah.
in little coffee cups, because that's what we had. So then that just became our mantra for the
Funny.
year. Um, and we just had a lot of fun. Like, even though it was like crazy COVID summer,
Mhm.
it was probably one of the better summers that I've had in a long time because of the fun that I had with her and
That's good.
with, just other people.
That's
So,
good.
but
I
anyways, like
I
the,
feel like you talking about being creative though, like you're even being creative with Christmas gifts. Like you really need a quote unquote grown up job that has creativity to it.
yeah, when I had my gift shop, um, when I first opened it, well, reopened the gift shop. I had the gift shop, then I closed it down, and I was just doing the website for a while. And then another space became available, like in a downtown area, and so I jumped on it, and I really enjoyed, doing that part of it,
And that's
opening it
in
up.
Maine, right?
That's in Maine, yep.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed connecting with my customers. I just didn't have. I mean, at the end, like the last 2 years that I was open, um, I'd been doing the business for 13 years. In the last 2 years that I was open, I just was working too much, and it was just, I was sacrificing so much of my life. And I thought, I'm coming up on 40.
It's time.
I got to figure out something else if I'm not going to do this for the rest of my life. Um, so the, like when, I was open, I would do things all the time in my store. Like, I had a ladies day, and I had my sister in there, and people could come in, and she did their nails for them.
Okay.
Um, I had one actually every year that we were open, we have this celebration in town, because the guy that invented earmuffs is from Farmington
Oh.
and Chester Greenwood. So we had the first Saturday of every December is Chester Greenwood Day. And
Hmm.
so we had in my store, um, my dad cooked pancakes, and we had like different flavors of syrups that I sold in the store, but mostly Maine, just regular Maine syrup. And
Yeah.
so the last year that we had set up shop for pancakes, my dad counted over 650 pancakes that he made, just flipping pancakes, but he loved it. He had his apron on and his,
Oh
and my
my
mom
God.
was there, my brother was there, it's like there's a family affair. And then we have like early bird special. Just there's so many creative things. I had I had like a little grill type thing that we had s'mores and a party on the sidewalk during every Friday night during the summer.
That's fun.
Um, and sometimes there would be hardly anybody there, and sometimes there'd be a lot of people there. So it was just fun. I liked doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But just the store, if I had learned my first 2 years in real estate, I learned a lot about how to find other people to do other things for me. If I had learned that and implemented those things, I probably would still have my store.
Would you consider going back?
I have. I mean, there's been, if I own the building, and also if it was in the right town, but I would also have to do it and not be able to draw income from it, just have it be as a creative thing, because I like retail right now, especially these big like Amazon,
Right.
Walmart, it's hard to compete with that. So
Yeah.
if I had to actually live off that, I think, but if I could pay someone to run the store and I could just go in and be creative, then that might help.
What about being an advertising person for people or something like that, where you can turn that creativity into something good for another business?
I mean, I've thought about that too. And actually, um, I've worked, I've in different people that I've met in real estate, different teachers and stuff. I've talked with them or talked to their people about different ideas that I have as far as marketing and whatnot. And I mean, some of them they've used, but I mean, I've thought about it. I mean, I think real estate, I have to do something with real estate because I know the power of that.
Yeah.
And if I can just get that part on automation, or like getting it so that I'm not so, I don't know, like, so it's taking care of me
Yeah.
and everything that I need, then I can probably do something else. But it's getting to that point and feeling like, what is that something else that will get me up and do real estate every day until I can get to that point? Does that make any sense what I was saying?
Can you write? Why don't you write a book about some of the experiences? Like you're in between, or you were in between two different states doing real estate, right?
Still am, yeah.
Still am. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's obviously differences in how you're doing real estate in Maine versus how you're doing real estate in the other state. And I'm sure
Sure.
you've run across all kinds of things. I've seen your Facebook post and your Instagram post and your, like you've had some stuff. And I find them very funny. But I know like it's one of those you can't make this stuff up type of things on some of your stuff. And so have you considered using your creativity in your normal job right now, which is real estate for you, and writing a book on your experiences or how you're managing or how people can manage between two states and the things, the downfalls and the positives and all the stuff? Have you considered on trying, you could co-write with some people that are doing it as well.
I haven't. I haven't thought about doing something like that, but maybe a bunch of little short stories I'll put together, or I don't know. I mean, some of the stuff that I have run into, yeah, some of it's challenging, but some of it's just hilarious.
Huh. Yeah.
Oh, it's embarrassing.
I mean, that I think real estate in general, you have all of those things.
Right.
I've seen lots of people make mistakes that I'm like, oh my gosh, but they put it out there publicly, because they did something really stupid or whatever. I mean,
and maybe even
happens.
interviewing people
Yeah.
about their experiences and how they dealt with bed bugs or
Yeah.
or whatever, you know. I mean, I have one of my first real estate experience stories would be, I went to a house and looked at it, and I walked in, and then I started walking out, and I looked down, and I was covered in fleas, like covered,
Ugh.
and I stripped all my clothes off
Ugh.
right in the front yard and left them there and got in my car and went home.
Oh, it's
So
gross.
yeah,
This is why I'm okay being the consultant and the accountant for real estate, but I don't want to do that. I think it's gross.
right.
So I rely on all of you people, and then I just count your beans. So
Yeah.
I
There's
ew.
there was another thing
Ew.
that, like, here's one of my journals.
Yeah.
There's one thing that I wrote um, about trying to find. Hold on, let me see if I can find it really quick. Oh, I know. It's about just getting by, and that's what
Yeah.
I feel like. That's what I'm doing right now because I'm happy most of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, if I usually I take trips, not like a major amount this year, but in the past I've, most of them are all like to a mastermind or to some sort of real estate seminar, and I just enjoy being there for that.
Yeah.
But I'm not like, I don't know, it's not like I'm not getting, I don't know, I'm not sure exactly how to describe it, but I feel like I am just getting by and
Yeah.
not having this amazing, beautiful, blah, blah, blah life that you see other people having. And again, why compare yourself to other people? Is it that kind of life that I want, or is it just peace and happiness and what? Yeah.
I think when you're looking at goal setting, you can't, I mean, you can envy what people's appearance of what they have are, but you know that there's some crap they've gone through, or they're currently in a lot of it. And the image of what you're seeing on now social media and all of that is not the true story. It's not. So when you're setting goals or you're looking at like your life plan, you can't go, oh, here's the image of the person I want to be, because you have no idea what's behind the mirror right there.
Right.
Like you
Yeah.
have no idea. For me, I'm learning as I've gotten older and my priority system has changed, I guess, is that sometimes being able to sit in my house and knowing that I don't have a million things out there that I have to stress about is like, oh, finally. And not that that's where I want to just sit, because I want better things than that. But there's something about that that you can just take this breath and know, like, it's not a house of cards that's going to fall over in 2 seconds when one thing doesn't go right. And I think a lot of people that are at kind of a different level, they have a house of cards under them that no one sees. But if you pull one of those strings or one of those cards out, like, they almost probably couldn't recover well. And so I hate to tell, like, don't look at someone and go, this is the life I want, or, oh, I envy that. You really have to decide, obviously, what your comfort's going to be. I do think from hearing from you, though, finding a passion of creativity and something you can do with that is going to help you set the right goals of the life plan. Because you mentioned being stagnant. Well, I think it's because you're just not happy in only real estate. There's got to be some secondary something
Yeah.
to
I think real estate can be the vehicle
that.
of getting there
Yeah,
financially to give
yeah,
me that, whatever it is that would make me passionate or whatever the passion is.
yeah, yeah,
I feel that, I don't know, I just feel that I have a lot more that I need and should be offering. am putting out there in the world.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more to me than what I show and share.
Yeah. So before we started this recording, you mentioned that you feel like everybody's life is here and you're somewhere down here because you just don't want to create waves or be seen, or you're just okay kind of just rocking it down here at the bottom. But sometimes maybe you need to be seen. Like I think from wanting to help or wanting to be creative, you have to be seen at some point. Like all creativity can't just be stifled, or it's really not, it's not doing what you want it to do.
Right. I mean, so a lot of people a lot of friends or people that I know in real estate, when they get to a certain level of success or whatever, or experience, then it seems natural that they just go into teaching or training in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that with several people.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really have a passion for real estate. I have a passion for helping people, and I think that I'm a pretty good teacher.
Yep.
But I'm not. So I mean, teaching real estate is like,
Yeah.
Because I mean, I know what I was like when I first started with real estate, and it would have been like, I don't think that I could handle someone like me. I can't. I mean, my mentors back then, and probably still now, are like, I don't know, maybe it's just normal, but for me it's like, how can I not understand this? And then I call them up and like, sorry, I don't understand this still. What's happening?
If one of our mutual people wasn't in the Dominican, we would be getting this answer right now. She would be telling us her thoughts. So,
Right. Yes.
okay, let's see
Yeah.
what else we've got on this text. There's so many things. So many things. We could go way deeper into some of this, but we don't have time for that. So freedom sounds good, but very vague. And I agree with that. Everybody just goes, oh, I want financial freedom. Well, financial freedom or flexibility in general for me is going to be different than it is for you. It's going to be different than it is for any one person. And so do you know, by saying financial freedom, do you actually know like what dollar? And so I think, yeah, so you're shaking your head. No, I think you have to define a little bit, like, what is that? Is it a dollar amount in your bank account? Is it, I get to go on 3 vacations a year that I go all out on vacation and I don't stress about the money because I know it's going to be there. Is it like, what is that freedom or that success factor? And I think you have to define that. Now, I don't think you necessarily have to define like total financial freedom, but maybe this year I just want to get out of debt another 20,000, or I want to do X, Y, Z, whatever it is. So I think saying that is like this big, huge monster, and I think it has to be brought down to a little bit of a smaller level. So you're shaking your head, it sounds so vague. Do you have any goal that you're hoping to set in the next 3 months, 6 months, maybe even a year, of like a small freedom that if you hit that, you feel success with it?
So I set two. Well, I had 2 deadlines this year. I was going on a cruise in March. And I got on the cruise, I was on the boat and everything, and then they kicked us off like 10 minutes before we were departing.
Thanks, COVID.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, I had this goal of losing, well, I wanted to get to a certain weight.
Okay.
And I did. I used, I think it's called Zoom or whatever. Noom.
Yeah.
And
I've heard
yeah.
this.
And it was actually really good.
Okay.
And it happened. And then, I mean, I was having people compliment me, wow, you lost weight, which, I mean, and then another time I went to Florida in October, and there was a bunch of stuff that I needed to get done because I knew that when I got back, it might have been November, but anyways, there could be snow on the ground and I might not be able to get to those tasks. So
Gotcha.
I had like 2 or 3 pages of things that I needed to get done in the next 3 weeks. And I got everything done on the list. So
Yeah.
but then at the end of this year, it's like, oh, there's a bunch of stuff that I need to get done before the end of the year. And one of those was talking to you about, like getting QuickBooks set up because of automation. That's one thing that I know going forward, that there's too much minutia and stuff that I just don't like in my life. And it was the same way with the store. So I'm trying to learn from that and trying to get rid of that in my life this year.
That's good. Kind of a decluttery type thing.
Yeah. And same stuff in my house. Like I have different rooms that I'm going to break down and be like, okay, this is just going to get done this week. And, but I wanted to get all that stuff accomplished before the end of the year. It didn't happen, but I don't know.
So do you feel like part of the text message is a little bit of like, I don't want to say punishment, but kind of a reminder of I didn't hit these goals and I didn't get this done, and a little self-confidence hit,
I'm always really hard on myself.
Okay.
So, but I think that the text message came from, if I had a passion or a reason, then maybe I would have gotten it done.
Yeah.
Like losing weight before I went on my trip.
You have the end game.
Right. Because I was going to have my shirt off and
yeah. Yes.
And then
you don't have enough fires lit
to
like drive the stuff.
Right. Because, it's been okay. I've been getting by and it's worked. So if I don't get it done, it's okay. Because
yeah.
But then I look back and I'm like, yeah,
that's a fire that lights you. So like I had to get it done before I left, and you had 3 pages of stuff that you probably could have gotten done for several months. And you got it done in a short time because all of a sudden you had this procrastination fire that I mean, it's a thing. We all do it.
It is. So. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But some of the stuff I feel, if I had it just taken care of and not have to deal with it, it's like clutter in my life that if I had it done, that it would just be like this thing that was just gone and taken care of, and I'd be lighter, and that maybe more things would open up in my mind. Yeah.
I dated a guy who he tells me, okay.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. He tells me that he grew up poor or whatever. I wasn't a part of his life then, so I just have to go by stories. And there's enough that now I don't trust a lot of what he says. But when you walk into his house, it's clutter, and not necessarily like trash and stuff, but wall-to-wall furniture. There's stuff on the furniture. It's like a collection of, now I have money and I need to show I have my money, instead of just like putting in a savings account. It's, I need everybody to see that I now have done something with my life. But yet he was always so overwhelmed, like all the time. And I used to say, I think if you would like empty out some stuff and clean out some stuff and simplify all of this, that you would find you're not as overwhelmed in your day to day, because you walk in and there's no room for anything. And it wasn't trash. It was just stuff. And in his mind, that's not what was causing the overwhelming. It was his way of saying, look, I've made it. I have stuff, because he grew up where he didn't have stuff. And I think a lot of times the clutter in our life, in our offices, in our houses, in our cars, whatever, creates a sense of like being overwhelmed or being kind of messed up in the head when it has nothing to do with what's actually happening in our brain. It's just the environment we're in is so enclosing. It starts like coming in on itself because you just have so much. So going through kind of a decluttering thing would probably be very cleansing in a lot of ways.
Yeah. One thing this summer, because I have I love plants and landscaping and like gardening and stuff. Um, one thing this summer and that was the other thing, like everybody was going outside this summer. They were
Yeah.
doing their gardens, they were doing this.
Yeah.
And I didn't. I bought a few flowers, but I didn't feel the desire to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that the only thing it was going to cause me was more stress.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it. And hey, it felt okay. Because sometimes I mean, now after thinking about it, I think, well, yeah, I like the flowers and stuff, but sometimes they just, I get excited about buying them, but then I get stressed because then I have to plant them.
Yeah.
Because they sit in their pots for like 4, 5, 6 weeks.
From the store.
And then I put them in the ground, and then I'm like, oh, they're so pretty. And then I maintain them for a little bit, and then it gets another monotonous. Oh, I need to go water them. The hose, So this year I decided not to do it, and
Okay.
I mean, I liked not having them, but I also liked having the few that I did have.
Do you get bored easily with lots of things?
Yes, but I also finish them still.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I know I have like ADD, but I do finish projects. I don't usually leave them. Sometimes
So,
it takes a couple years to do them, but
all right. So then for you, is setting small short-term goals easier than one big long-term goal that you're going to get bored with before it really ever gets done?
yeah, I think I'm starting to realize that now.
Yeah.
That the smaller little things that still have meaning,
Mm-hmm.
that yeah.
Yeah. So weeks or 3 months at a time versus this whole entire year or
Yeah.
5 years or 10 years. That's one thing, I know the reason that people go, where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be? Like you're putting it out to
Right.
the universe. You're trying to like make this, ultimately I want to be at this level. I get the reason, but then I think some people see it so far away and they're like, okay, like I'm at week 1. That's 5 years away. And you never plan how to get to 5 years. Like, no,
Right.
because when they ask you that question, you're not talking about all of the steps it takes. You're just really excited about this big plan. And then no one tells you what to do after that. And if you don't take it upon yourself to do these small little goals and attainable things, that 5-year plan is like way out there. And it's almost not possible. And so I think that's overwhelming. And so for me, hearing you, I would say, this month I want to do this or whatever, I think will be more beneficial than a 1 year, 5-year, 10-year type plan.
Yeah, maybe that is the case here,
Yeah.
because for me, 5 years from now, I like, what if I want to have, I can say, oh, I want to have 50 houses or 100 houses or 100, whatever. But then it's getting there and things change and life happens, and it's a different, I don't know, coping with the
Yeah.
change and then adapting. People say, oh, do you want to travel? I like to travel. It's more of traveling and being with the people
Yeah.
instead of the actual destination.
Yeah.
Do I want a brand new car? Eh. I've never had a new car, but I don't care. Like the last car I got, I found in a house.
Of course you did. Along with the 83 cats that you helped get better.
Right. Yeah.
No,
But
and by the way, people on YouTube that are hearing this and watching this video, that is a true story.
yes.
It is.
But let's a little bit of history. I lived in a tiny, like really kind of outdated apartment over my store for 5 years. Okay. Well, for the time I was in the store, which was 5 years in that building. And then I lived there for another 4 years until finally 2019, I moved into a house. Like, because I mean, it's not like I couldn't move into a house. I mean, I bought houses, I own houses.
Right. Right.
But I lived in this tiny 1-bedroom apartment. So I finally took that step forward, and that was like this major, I actually like this.
Yeah.
I have all of my stuff in one place, my tools, my books, my whatever, and they're all available to me whenever I want them. I don't have to go to my parents' house or my little shed that I have up in my little cabin in the woods. It was everywhere. And so that was kind of a like, oh, I'm growing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was almost like I'm worth it. I'm worth having a house.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of there's like so many layers of
finding some self-value.
Yeah. So many layers behind all of that. Yeah. I think that's why I float so close under the radar.
So when we started, you mentioned following up with people that I've interviewed before. So since this one is a little bit about goals, what can we potentially set that you're willing to do in the public eye since this is published? So what are you willing to do in like 3 months and 6 months that we could do a quick follow-up with you to see, did you figure out a passion? Did you start going in a direction? Whatever it is, what can we hold you accountable to? And the whole audience is holding you accountable. So
I think so. One thing that I just started doing actually this morning was thinking about some small little things that, like having someone come in and clean my house.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't mind cleaning my house, but it's also, it's like if I had someone come to clean my house, and then I kind of started evaluating each little thing like that. And how would it impact my life? And is it a scary thing to do? Is it going to be a bad thing? So that's kind of, I don't know, in analyzing a bunch of little things that I want to do, I think that's probably one way to start for me.
Yeah. That's good.
And like doing my taxes or getting that part set up correctly, not trying to reinvent the wheel, because that's already everything's been done
right in
so many ways by so many different people, but just finding what it is and how it works for me, and then just doing it. And then just being at peace with the decision. I think that is probably the biggest thing that I could accomplish, is not always looking for the better thing,
Yeah.
but just being at peace with what is right now.
Yeah. So trusting your own decision and
Yeah.
what you're doing. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that sounds fantastic. Trusting yourself is sometimes like a super, super hard thing to do. I think in our lives, we all make so many mistakes that at some point we start going, am I doing anything right? And we know that's not true. It's just like a random mindset you get in sometimes. But I mean, for the longest time, self-confidence and self-esteem was down so much that I questioned, like, am I good for anyone else? Am I
Yeah.
really doing good things with whatever decisions I'm making? And obviously I got over it. It was fine. But for a while, it's almost a weird dark place to be in, where it's not like super dark, but it is a dark spot. And
Cloudy.
yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we check in with you in 3 and 6 months, we want an update then on kind of, did you get your goals set? And I didn't go over the relationship thing because that's a whole different world to unpack, like 100%
Yeah.
um, along the way. And we can, but that would be that's a whole interview on its own.
It is. Yep.
Um, so we could check in with you on that and find out if you're trusting the decision you're making. And really, for me, I hear you and I say, I want to know if you made smaller goals and if you were able to accomplish them being on like 1 month time frames or 3 month time frames versus longer time frames. And if that actually was a positive for you or not. And maybe it won't be, I don't know. But I'd be interested to know if you set even once a week, like by every Sunday, I want this done, or by the end of last day of the month, I want whatever done. If that helps you or makes anything different than setting like an annual big thing.
Just thinking about that in those terms, I mean, it makes me, this may sound weird, but it makes it feel lighter and less pressure. If
Hey,
I only have to do like 1 month out,
yeah.
then I'm like, yeah, if I can just set these goals and like be happy this month, or just do this little thing this month, then I mean, that just kind of seems like it takes the pressure off.
And then
Thinking about
ultimately,
it that way.
procrastination at the last day of the month, you're going to be doing everything that you wanted to do for the
Right. And with a deadline like that, you get a lot more done
for,
sometimes.
for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well then we will check in with you.
Okay.
We'll do like a short check-in at like 3 months
Okay.
and 6 months. Like where are things? Are things getting better or not? And what you adjusted. So as you're journaling, I would like to know, I guess, obviously what you did adjust to make things work, or wow, that actually didn't work as well as I thought it would, and I had to adjust it or scrap it altogether. Because I could see you trying some things and going, nope, and just you have to scrap it.
Sometimes, though, speaking of scrapping it or not, sometimes I beat something and keep trying to make it work. Like I keep trying to put the what is the round, or the square peg in the round hole, whatever. Yeah. And I keep trying to make it work. Like with my store, I think I tried to make it work for 15 or 13 years,
Yeah.
and I just like, something's not right. Something, instead of like stepping back and saying, okay, tweak it or get rid of it.
Right.
Because I may have ADD, but I'm also like stubborn and like, this is gonna work. It has to work.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess then a goal for you would also be starting to recognize the things that you need to scrap. You need to let them go. They need to get off of your plate, because if it is a square peg, it doesn't belong in the round hole. So you've got to maybe identify some of those things. And I bet if you look back through your journals, some have been identified for you, although you're choosing to not let them go. They're probably right there,
Yeah.
for sure. So, do you have any last minute words or advice for our viewers?
Um, I mean, I two things that when I'm like really struggling for the day or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
um, if I just write down in my journal, if I
Yeah.
write down and just keep writing so many different things that I'm grateful for. And I know that sounds really weird, but every time that it 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 definitely works. By the end of, like, I'll just keep writing and keep having to think, because sometimes, it's like sometimes it's a struggle of coming up with something that you're grateful for, even though as a person I have so many good things in my life, and
Yeah.
so many, I'm so fortunate. um but it's always a struggle sometimes when you're in that kind of a funk or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is that I do, is I smile even at the dumbest things. Like, I'll look at, um I don't know, just a design on the rug that the cats made because they were doing whatever, and I smile because just smile at it. And then it just, even though it's not something to smile at, you're like, why would you smile at that? And you just smile because, I don't know, there's something in that part too that makes
Yeah.
me feel better.
That's good. I like that. I like that. All right. Well, then we're holding you accountable.
Okay.
Everybody that watches this is going to be a part of this. I want to thank Corey for joining us today in his cold Maine stuff. It did snow here. I'm in Missouri. It did snow here this weekend, so you're not the only one with snow.
So you're saying that we're going to get more snow this week from you guys?
Maybe. Yeah, it was headed your direction, actually.
Okay.
That could be. It was like a whole 1 inch here, so it wasn't that exciting. But it's cold. Anyway, I want to thank Corey for joining us today. If you liked what you heard, please, again, subscribe to our page. We will do a follow-up, a little short thing with him at 3 and 6 months once we publish his video. And I look forward to understanding how he's doing and what's going on. If you struggle with some of this, please go ahead and comment on the video. Let us know some things that have helped you in your goal planning, in your kind of year planning, whatever you've done that's worked. We would love to hear about that. Comment on the video and share with anybody that you think would benefit from any of the videos we've had. The link to all of our social media is in this video description as well. So please like our page and join us on this journey. And we'll see you all next time. Bye.